Welcome to episode, I'm going to take a guess at this, 158, episode 158 of The Sound. And tonight, a very special guest, one that I've been going after for a while and that I absolutely adore as an artist. I'm going to show a picture later on that y'all promise you can't make fun of.
Oh,
I'm not going to promise nothing, Kevin. Nothing.
So, but we are going to play the commercial for his tour first, and then we're going to bring him in. But it is Shim. Some of you may know Shim as the original lead singer of the Sick Puppies. He is now solo and putting out some really good stuff. But we're going to play the commercial, and then we're going to bring him in. So here we go. That is his latest single, Sting Like a Bitch. And we are going to bring Shim into the show right now. Shim, how are you?
Buddy, looking good, man. It's good to see you, Kev. How you feel, man?
I feel great. And I was telling
I'm sorry that I'm not from the Architects. You can keep,
oh, God, you heard that?
Oh, yeah, he definitely heard that.
Just promise me you'll keep it clean from my interview, okay?
Right.
I promise.
Thank you. Okay, Kevin,
you're welcome.
Now, Kevin, you can go back to fangirl.
Okay. So,
I love it.
I said I was going to show a picture, and this was back. I can't even remember what year, but it was you guys and God, who else was there? Hinder, maybe? No, it wasn't Hinder. It was Theory of a Dead Man.
I'll tell you the truth. If it was Hinder, I don't want to see the photo because God knows what the hell we got up to.
No, it was Theory of a Dead Man at the Hard Rock in Biloxi.
My man,
way
dude,
back in the day.
Yeah, we look like babies, man. Crazy.
Wow.
Really. Yeah,
I want to know
man.
what you're putting on your skin.
Kevin, what happened? He quit drinking and lost a bunch of weight.
Yeah.
Kevin age is like a fine wine from South Australia.
So I will tell you this, and then I'll stop. So Tripolar was one of my most favorite albums of all time that the Sick Puppies did. And of course, Shim was the lead singer of the Sick Puppies at the time. And that album, that one particular album during a certain time of my life, when I was probably at my lowest, helped me through so much shit.
Thanks, man.
No. And I'm not lying about that at all. I'm about to cry about it. That album is just spot on when it comes to that part of my life. Every time I hear the songs, I'm like, fuck.
Yeah.
Aww.
But so tell me from where you were at then to where you're at now, because you took a little hiatus, you put out some single stuff, we played a song that you had done a collaboration with Royal Bliss on. And so where are you at now, and what's going on with Shim?
Well, now I can honestly say I'm a different person in all the right ways. So, for example, by the way, thank you very much for the kind words about the music from before, because the one thing that stayed consistent with me throughout my personal and professional life has been the message that I put in my music. I was very calculated at the beginning of my creative career when I was like, do I want to spend all my time writing songs and try to make this happen? Well, and I've seen people who do this, and I've watched people age and pass away as they live a creative life. And they always have these regrets of like, man, I sold out, or man, I could have put more into my stuff, or I was always too scared. I didn't take enough risks or whatever. And I was just like, I'm going to make music that means something no matter what. Like, it has to mean something. And it has to push my personal boundaries of, can I write something that good? Can I sing something that good? Can I create something like that powerful? The sort of songs that we gravitate towards, that become a soundtrack to our life, that, like what you said, Kevin, that help you. And so that hasn't changed. The good news is everything else around it has changed in terms of my personal growth, accountability, parenthood, relationships, my relationship with myself, all the good stuff, right? So now there's just so much more to put into that vessel of music, right? And being able to be of service to my fans and people who listen to my music. So everything since the band split up has been literally the equivalent of, you know, you were in a marriage that wasn't working out, and then you break up, and then you find yourself, you kind of date the same kind of women for a few years, and you're like, oh, I'm choosing the wrong situation. I'm the problem. I'm picking the wrong people to work with. And now, just by, you know, fortune and grace of God, or whatever you want to call it, I made a conscious choice, and I said, I'm not going to do this again until the circumstances are correct. I'm not going to try to force anything. I'm going to wait for a good team of people. And I have a very, I also have a masterclass. It's got a shameless plug, shimsmasterclass.com, where I teach songwriting and performance, right? And I do a weekly call, and there's courses in there. Please go to shimsmasterclass.com as well as shimmusic.com, because I do a weekly call with my students, and I explain this to them, and I'm like, the reason that it's important to be as evolved as you can be is because you can put that into your music and share it. And so when I got to the point where I was like, I explain it to people in the masterclass, and I say there's terms and conditions, because people kind of understand that. And they're like, what do you mean? Like terms and conditions when I sign up for the masterclass? And I'm like, no, there's terms and conditions to share your life with me. There are terms and conditions. I don't tolerate negative people or people who don't meet me with my energy. If you're not going to work as hard as me, then you're not involved. And if you don't have the right spirit, if you're like, yo, I want to be famous and get laid, I'm like, cool, go work with someone else.
See ya.
Yeah. But like, if I have very clear terms, and I lay them out at the very beginning, you have to have a kind heart and a strong spirit, because a kind heart without a strong spirit is useless, and a strong spirit without a kind heart is dangerous. Yeah. But if you have the two, then we can talk, because that's what goes into my music. And then everything starts to move forward. And those terms and conditions change the game for me. And I talk about it like this because I think it's important for everyone to go, yeah, what are my conditions? What are my terms? Do you have any? Have you written them down? Do you speak them? Maybe if you do, things will change. So my shit changed the moment I wrote down the terms and conditions, and people started coming to me and being like, hey man, I remember that song and that music. Can I help you? And then John from Curtain Call came and said he was going to help me out, and we've been doing some damage together, man. We got a great tour, great bands, great stuff, like great team. It's fucking game on now, guys.
And I will tell you this, you talk about the tour, and all four of us here, we talked about it. We had it. We thought we had one of the dates, and it ended up falling through for us because we don't have our own venue. So we got to kind of work with other people's venues. But it fell through, and I told John, I'm like, man, it fell through, but I still want to do the interview. Can we do this? And he was like, yeah, just email him, make it happen.
Yeah, of course.
Because I will.
No, I'm sorry. I'm too famous and important. If you're not going to promote my shit for nobody.
I will be at the Virginia date. I'm going to be at
cool.
I'm going to be there. Oh, you best.
Yeah, I'm going to call architects, and I'm going to tell them to fly out.
That's awesome.
I'm sorry, Lisa. I'm going to roast you one more time before the end of the interview on that, and no one's going to understand why.
Right. They're not going to see the beforehand. They're not going to know what you're talking about.
Lisa, you're coming out to a show for real?
No, I'm coming to Tally Ho Theater in Leesburg. I live in Virginia. I will be at your show.
You're playing with our boys in Shallow Side.
Shallow Side.
Yes.
Yeah. They're one of mine and Lisa's clients. So
I'm super excited, man. I can't wait.
Thanks, man. I love that band too. They sound great. Like all the bands on this bill, Anything But Human, Shallow Side, they're bless you. They're great.
So let me ask you this, Anything But Human.
Yes.
Did I hear correctly that they were also going to be your band on the tour?
Yeah, man. Yeah, I'm rolling like James Brown. I'm doing old school. So they're opening, and then literally we walk off. We like change our shirt and come back on, and then it's the Shim show. And my bass player is going to be Jamie Lewis, who is one of my best friends in the world and a disgustingly amazing bass player and an awesome guy. And he also has his own. He teaches bass as well at the Jamie Lewis Bass Academy. If you want to learn bass, check it out. But so the band is going to be sick. And yes, the guitar player and Joel and Pat from Anything But Human are pulling double duty. Wow. And I am eternally grateful. And it really the tour would not be what it is without those guys doing what they've done. So I want to send a massive thank you to Anything But Human and their whole team, because they're helping them. It wouldn't be happening without them, straight up.
Wow.
So as this airs, because we recorded this earlier, but as this airs, it's the first night of the tour. Am I correct, Lisa?
I would have to look it up.
October 2nd?
October 3rd is the first day. Oh,
okay,
shit.
so
I should know this. It might be October 2nd. I should be more.
You should know your own tour, Shim.
Hey, hold on one sec. I got it here. Hold on. There we go. Let's see. October 3rd is the first one.
Mid-tour.
Okay. Yeah.
So maybe I can, I was just looking at that tour, and you know what? Look at there. October 11th, Jared at the Wildcatter.
Oh, that's a great venue.
But there is a show, and I would be able to go down and visit some friends. So maybe I'll go to the October 12th show.
I was going to say, Kevin, I think it would be great to see you. I think if you can make the trip, I can make it worth your while. That's not a proposition. It's just, it's like, so let's get some lunch and let's catch up, and let's see. And also anything I can do to serve what you guys are doing here, anything I can do, let me know.
No, hey, look, like I said, I'm excited to have you on. There's a small list of people that back when I worked in radio on a regular basis that were people that I gravitated to, and bands I gravitated to at that time. And you guys were one of them. So to be able to have you on the show is just absolutely a pleasure for me. But I do want to talk about the new single.
Yeah, let's do it.
We're gonna play a little bit of it.
Let's sell some shit.
There you go. The song is called "Sting Like a Bitch." So tell us a little bit about the song.
This song is a reimagined version of a song from my solo record from a little while ago, and it's kick-ass. Voley Martin, who has co-produced this and mixed this with me. No one knows him yet, but he's a diamond in the rough, and he's a good friend of mine now. He reproduced this. It sounds sick. And the song is literally just, once I started to understand the system of money and politics fighting each other and the whole macro element, I literally just wrote a song that was like, oh, anyone at the top in the billionaire status, the millionaire status, the money status, the money thing, the game is built to keep us down. And once I recognized it, and I was like, oh, this only lasts for so long. Like we saw it with 2008. Eventually things come back around, and these people get bit. And it was just written in that one moment of being really pissed off about it. Just being, because you have to make your life and you make your plan and you recognize the information. But there's also that moment which is like, man, just fuck you guys. Just fuck you. Like that, and that's it. That moment, I believe that songs exist in different time capsules. There are some songs that are like, here's the story of my life up until now. I need to make a decision and I'm moving. And there are some that are just, right now I feel like this, for this 1 3-minute period. And there's not really an answer, a solution, or a question. It's just, man, fuck this. And you just want to capture it so that people can go, yes, I know what you're talking about. I feel the same way. I can't wait to watch them fall over because they deserve it and they got it coming.
I like it. So here it is. We're going to play a little bit of it now. It's Sting Like a Bitch. It's Shim, and you're watching The Sound.
Lifestyles of the rich and blameless. You don't know why you love to hate, cause it's been a while since the Civil War, the rights movement of 54. Selling hope, slinging dope, stealing votes. Now we're all on our own. I turn songs how you can steal a fantasy you can make real, yeah. I don't think I'll ever understand stepping on everyone you can. Does it make you feel like a man? You run your mouth like a marathon. Being a prick must turn you on, but not for long. Can't wait to see your face on the end of a fest. Can't wait to see your paper, all this shit. And I would wait in line, I'm not the ticket. 'Cause when it comes around, it'll sting like a bitch. Once we're lost, now you're blind as well. Promise us heaven, deliver us welfare. Medical on a Holocaust budget, but the 1% are going low, man. Black, brown, aged out, or anything around the poverty line. And then there's no need to fight, 'cause you don't have to kill someone waiting to die. I don't think I'll ever understand stepping on everyone you can. Does it make you feel like a man? You run your mouth like a marathon. Being a prick must turn you on, but not for long. Can't wait to see your face on the end of a fest. Can't wait to see your paper, all this shit. And I would wait in line, I'm not the ticket. 'Cause when it comes around, it'll sting like a bitch.
All right, I said we'll play a little bit, and I couldn't turn it off.
I was going to say, you just got to the bridge breakdown thing. So, you know what's funny? I'm gonna drop one more Architects reference, okay? The funniest thing is, and I'm gonna put this out because I love you guys and I appreciate what you're doing for me. And also, I remember when I was on a label and they'd say like, "Don't say that and don't say this. You need to keep it." And now I just don't give any fucks. I left them in 2019. So when we were doing this song and we were right at the mixing stage, and I was like, yeah, we're at this bridge, and there's like da ga ga ga, and then there's a fill, and then down 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 down, where every second metal band is like, we need a breakdown and a big fat riff, and let's all cock measure each other on how much low end we can put in the section. Right?
Correct.
Right? That's what is going on. And then I was like, cool. So we spent like 2 days going like, can we put this synth underneath the guitars? How do we get the most low end? I want my dick to measure up to half of these guys. And then it was like, oh, well, if you really, so I listened, I'm like, well, what would Architects do before the vocalist would say some shit about how he's angry at the situation and circumstances and he's not going to take this anymore. And so I was like, I just ranted that thing and was like, oh, I can't even remember what I said at the time. I'm like, I don't know what it was. But I literally was just like, I just screamed into the microphone from back off it so it had a bit of a room sound. And was like, throw that in so that it sounds like I'm pissed off before that low end. So it just really sits in that lane of the metal cock measuring bridge scenario.
So, is that? Do you want me to go ahead and go into it?
Yeah, you know what? I really do. I want you to. I need context.
All right, here we go.
Your second chances have come on too many times. Now I'll take it back once mine. Can't wait to see your face on the end of a fist. Can't wait to see your paper, all this shit. And I would wait in line, I'm not the ticket. 'Cause when it comes around, it'll sting like a bitch. It'll sting like a bitch.
So,
all right, the whole song.
What I'm saying, the vocal tone's got that 2005 teen angst. I'm angry at my father and I don't understand why. But then the 2024, I can stand at the urinal next to Architects and feel not unconfident.
Right. That's right. That's right.
Yeah.
Kevin, we couldn't have played.
I think that this is like an accident that I'm still doing this for a profession. I'm like, and by the way, ladies and gentlemen, fucking watching and listening, every band talks about this shit. They just don't do it on camera. Okay.
Right.
I mean, that's the truth, though.
Yeah,
this is correct.
Like, wait a minute. What did Falling in Reverse do last month? Okay, what's the patch?
Well,
He's 100% correct. That is truth. Yeah, Kevin, you couldn't have planned that any better to stop it right there, like you did. We got the spiel, and then we went right back into it.
We go back like Cadillac seats. He knows when to put it down so I can pick it up. He knows what to say.
It's like it was all planned. And
it almost looks like
the fact that we were talking about like architects just before we started recording this. It's all just worked into this perfectly, hasn't it?
I know.
Yeah. The stars have aligned because
They have.
You see,
that red breakdown, right, Matt?
You never see the dry erase board that I have here, and I get to check off things as we're going down the list, and I have written down.
You're so full of shit.
Yeah, 100% full of shit.
Let's see. Let's talk about architects real quick, and then we'll go from there.
And one thing I've just realized, I knew this before the show, but it's just sunk in right now, is we are pretty much at all corners of the globe.
We are.
I'm over here in the UK. Shim's down there in Australia. You guys are in America.
Yep.
We're hitting every aspect of the world.
We are.
So when it was time to figure out what time to do this, so it worked for Shim as well. And then I'm thinking about Matt in the UK, and I'm just like, this math, I can't do it.
What a time to be alive.
Thank God Shim sent me the world clock thing, whatever. You could slide to what time it was. You could figure out where. It's like, thank God.
It's
so
like
wait, so Shim, what time is it where you are?
Right now, it's coming up on midday.
Wow. It's 3 o'clock in the morning here.
Yeah, it's 10 o'clock at night in Virginia, and it's 9 o'clock at night where Jared and Kevin are.
Well, I got to tell you honestly, thank you very much for staying up and helping to make this happen, because usually I'm the one who has to get up at 5 a.m. and get all like camera ready and coffee and everything.
It's our pleasure.
And so I appreciate you guys accommodating that. And Matt, you're a fucking serious trooper for being awake at 3 a.m. for this.
I'm all about the music, bro.
So I do want to ask you, you kind of broke into it real quick, and then from when you were on a label to where you're at now, the music business itself, what is the biggest change that you've seen that you either like or dislike?
How much time you got? And also, how real do we want to get?
We get super real as possible.
Well,
yeah.
I mean, if we want to get real, I'd actually okay, here's the thing. I got time, and we've already gone to the effort of setting this up. Would you be interested in opening this up to a short dialogue instead of just, hey, Shim, what do you think?
Yeah. Oh, absolutely. That's what we do here on this show.
Let me, because I'm interested. You guys have been doing this just as long as I have. What do you think? Like, your main question, Kevin, was like, what are the ways that it's changed in general, and what are the negative ways?
Well, so I'll tell you, one of the biggest changes from when I was full-time in radio to where I'm at now, it was, all right, the band's got an album. They're going to release a couple singles, then they're going to drop the album. Now it's single, then maybe drop an album that has like 3 songs that they hadn't released off of it yet. Right. So that, to me, on the radio side of it, is just really weird. Right. So that's the big difference as far as on my view of it.
But you're talking about professionally. As a fan, how does that make you feel?
As a fan, I like it because I'm constantly getting new stuff.
Right.
But, and Jared, I think, will agree with me, is I love opening up a CD, opening up the jacket and reading everything in it.
But we're old men.
Yeah.
That's how we grew up. And you can't, it's going to be like literally, they're going to have a thing in 25 years. There's going to be people who are 30 years old putting little implants and being like, dude, I remember when I had to do this. It just ain't like the old days.
Right.
And there's always a version of that, right? But Lisa, what about you?
I think the biggest evolution for me has been the aspect of social media in the marketplace and how that's driving popularity, how it's driving visibility for these bands to be able to market themselves to a larger audience.
Yeah.
And that's a positive.
It is, but it can also be taken as a negative, because then you come into the dialogue of content and how you manifest that content, how it gets created, how you pay for said content, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera.
Okay, so Jared and Matt, what do you guys? Who wants to throw down first? Jared, you got a big smile on your face. I'm thinking you've got something to say.
Go on, Jared.
Oh yeah, we've discussed this on the show many a times. I mean, I'm kind of like Kevin. I definitely missed albums and the progression from start track one to end. That's kind of a dying art. But I will say this. One of the things that the internet has done, we just mentioned it earlier, we're on all different corners of the globe here. It's democratized music. It's made it more affordable to produce. It's put it in the hands of more people. But the flip side of that is it's harder to cut through the noise now as a new and up and coming band. You don't have anybody to really blame it on but yourself. And I think a lot of bands are still they're struggling with that, right? They want to say, we've had bands on here 2024, like, I want to get signed. It's like, I don't know that that's the way to approach this anymore. It's not Motley Crue in the 80s. You're not going to get a, big record deal.
Here's the fun thing. If you talk about the mentality of a young artist and they say, I want to get signed, if you just replace signed with validated, it makes a lot more sense.
Right. Exactly.
So you better prepare yourself. So I'm going to break this shit down in a minute. Okay. And Matt, what do you think?
Well, for me, I'm gonna do this as a fan. So for me as a fan, with the whole way, it's an internet-based industry now. It's as simple as that. Like Jared said, we wouldn't be doing this if it wasn't. Now, for me, that's great as a fan because I can find these underground artists on, using the streaming platforms, using social media. I can find bands that mainstream aren't playing and that aren't forcing me to listen to.
Yeah.
But the downside to that and the negative thing to that is everyone and their mother thinks that they can do it.
Right. Yeah.
And the market is way oversaturated with so much shit.
Right. So if you go back to, now I'll tell you what I think. Okay. And this is, I had conversations all the time. People come up to me after the shows. Hey, can I talk to you? I want to be in a band. The first question I ask them is, can you do anything else? The conversation never goes how they plan. They're like, tell me how to get 1 million followers. I'm like, can you do anything else and sleep at night? Does your dad own a plumbing store where you can learn the trade and you can play on the weekends? Can you do anything? Or are you compelled to create music, and if you don't, you feel bad inside? And sometimes they say, no, I just kind of want to have fun. I'm like, great, go and start a cover band, get laid. Then you don't have to chase anything. You don't have to deal with anything, and you have a nice life, and make it fun. The alternative is I have to write songs. I feel bad if I don't. Great, accept it. And now you get to start moving forward. And if that's the case, why do you need to write songs? And they never think about any of this, right? No one ever thinks about it. It's like, why do you? Well, okay, the answer always boils down. We'll cut to the chase because I could talk about it for an hour. But basically, the answer always boils down to is it's the path of least resistance to positive feedback. It's the path of least resistance to, hey, you wrote that song, you played that song, you're good. What they're saying is the song's good. And the artist goes, I'm a good person now. Someone said they like my stuff, they like me, and it gives you positive feedback, right? But you're not making music for the right reasons at that point, holistically. And that bleeds into, the more people like, follow, comment, the more I get. And what happens is, at some point, there's a deciding factor. Back 20 years ago, there was a deciding factor where a label would have to choose. And they would look at the artist and they would say, this person has more talent, has done more time, has done more things, and their head's in the right place, or they've got more to offer. So we will sign them and take a risk, right? So you had to work harder to get signed because they would put all this money into it. Then the money vanished 25 years ago. The whole business got turned on its head. So for between 2000 and 2010, the money vanished. All of the bands were basically like, riding the coattails of what was left. And then by 2010, which was right when my band popped, everything was really transitioned. It was literally called the Dark Ages. The people at the labels were like, in 10 years, someone's going to figure it out right now. Right now, we're just trying to keep our jobs. And I was one of the last rock bands on a major label. So the money dried up and everyone got scared. So the music became scared. So the artists, the labels, the promoters, everyone said, whatever worked last year, just fucking please do it again so we can keep our job. No one took any risks. And you translate that over the course of 10, 15 years, the money drying up and going down. Now you have a new business model, which is do whatever worked slightly last time so we can get our quarterly numbers and we can validate our XYZ and then we can have a job. But don't worry about the art. Don't worry about the music. Don't worry about saying anything. For fuck's sake, say nothing. Don't risk anything, right? So then now you've got a fan experience that's suffering. So the fan experience used to be, I got a record. I like records. This is an experience, the experience of the record. Labels created the experience till the money dried up. And then the burden of work was fallen on the artist. Create experiences because we can't afford to do it, but no one taught him how to do it. So there's the artist going, I just want people to like me and follow me and get laid and do rock and roll. And there's this massive disconnect of no one's teaching the artist how to be an artist in this world. So the music gets worse and worse and worse and worse. And everyone complains. And the fans are fucking pissed because they're like, can you please be an artist? That's what I want. I don't want to hear about your Spotify royalties. I don't want to hear about how the labels suck. I don't want to hear about how you can't get your shit together. And I definitely don't want to hear your next pitch, like buy my thing, even though there's no value to my music and I have no new content and I'm offering no services. So this massive disconnect occurs. The good news is that, and that's why I said, don't get me started, right? So if you are an artist, do it for the right fucking reason. Do it because you have something to say, because you're compelled to, and do it as a gift. And this is the thing that I say in my masterclass. It's the key point that separates what I'd say from everyone else. Most people say, I want to make something, I want to make an impact on the world. I want to create something that creates positive change. Well, how do you do it? It always happens one person at a time. So focus on creating a piece of music that is a gift, like maybe your odd one was to Kevin, to the point where when he remembers, he gets choked up.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
And you create something as a gift to someone and say, hey, I'm going to do my job. What's my job? I'm an artist. I write songs. Learn how to write great songs. Learn how to write lyrics. Learn how to sing. Learn how to produce your songs. Every single person that comes into most people that come into my masterclass, I should say, they're like, hey, how do I make my stuff sound good? How do I get more followers? How do I do X, Y, Z? And the answer is always the work does the work. And I have to remind people, you have to write something compelling. You have to write something that means something. Yeah. Like, why do you the songs that you listen to over and over again? And you break it down to an emotional reaction. When you hear the song, you feel less alone in the world. That's what music exists for. A vessel to create connectivity between the artist and the listener. And along the way, when the mechanism, the vessel, the MP3, the WAV file, when the financial value proposition of that WAV file was destroyed, the labels and the artist had no option but to go, well, we just have to survive. Now, you got a whole new situation where the artists are fully accountable, but they're little bitches. They don't want to do the work. They don't want to get on social media and respond to people. And they don't want to go in and go, hey, I'm not going to go and spend a bunch of money on studio time. I'm not going to buy a bunch of plugins. How about I spend 3 months writing a song that makes me feel like I'm taking a risk, that makes me feel like I'm a little bit nervous to put this out there. That's not just about, hey, I got a good haircut and I got a good photo shoot and listen to how low end, look at the low end on my bridge, man. I'm going to go on tour with Architects. Right?
That's the fifth reference.
That's the fifth reference. Thank you. That's the last one, I promise, right? So they're focusing on the wrong things. But the thing is, Matt, what you were saying, the fan experience is the same. The only thing a fan cares about is, can you make me feel more connected to the world that I live in and to myself through the experience of sharing your music with you and with the fans, the other fans around it. So artists have a responsibility to pivot their mindset to say, we're not making albums, we're not even making songs, you are, but the mindset is we're creating an experience. You're creating an experience. It's no different than dating. If you take a girl out, what do? Where are you taking her? Why do you ask, where are you taking a girl on the first date? What experience are you going to share with her? Are you taking her to the movies? Are you taking her to a theme park? Or are you just going to sit in your bedroom and talk about stuff? Like, the experience matters. You ask these questions when you form relationships in other circumstances. Why wouldn't you ask, what experience am I creating? Because Alice Cooper, when he was making, and David Bowie, when they were making the concept records and the albums and the shows, they were thinking about the experience for the fans. Luckily, there was money at the time. Now there's not. The impetus is on the artist to create the experience. So do your job. Don't expect the label. Labels don't have any vision. They're the ones who say, thank you for creating a vision. Now we'll connect the dots and try to support it. But your job is to have the vision, and their vision is, I want everyone to like me and follow me and subscribe, because that's what they get from all the social media content out there. Well, you can't blame them, but who's going to tell them otherwise? Because the labels don't give a fuck, and the artists are all sitting there dick measuring low-end bridges and likes. So I personally think it's a pro and a con, and it all comes down to how the artist receives it and uses it. Because at the end of the day, the people who are going to be the next 10 years, the influential artists, They're the ones who are going to embrace the holistic creation of an experience for their fan base. It's not just a song, it's not just a brand, it's not just a video, it's the whole thing that ties into an experience. And Sleep Token's a very good example of this. They don't give a fuck, and they're doing it their own way, and they're doing it you follow Sleep Token and Shim, and you'll and Falling in Reverse, because you gotta know he's landed perfectly. He took risks, and everyone was like, "You're crazy. This isn't landing." And he just managed to ride that fucking wave until finally everyone caught up. And then there was money, and then and now, thank God, it's exploded. And he's paving the way for this concept that I'm talking about. Take the risks, be good to your fans, do your job consistently well, make great shit, have a good team, because you better believe Falling in Reverse ain't just Ronnie. He's got a great team as well. And that's why I say terms and conditions. If your fucking drummer sucks, get a new drummer. If you're talking to a manager who fucking wants 25% of everything for doing nothing, get a new manager. Take care of your shit. That's my opinion. And I'm fucking strong about it because I had to do it. And it's not easy. It's really challenging, but it pays off, man. My fans are the best, and they take care of me. My fans take care of me. If I put out like, hey, I want to get this thing, I want to go on this tour, they will financially support me to continue doing my music.
Right, and this is something bands don't realize that are up and coming in the scene is those fans are the ones that pay your fucking wages.
Fucking A.
They're the ones that are buying the show tickets. They're the ones that are buying the merch. They're the ones that are streaming your music or buying the physical copies of albums and shit. They are the reason why you are doing what you love doing.
Yeah. To piggyback what you're saying though too about like why are you doing what you're doing, and we've talked about that again on the show before a lot, especially speaking directly to the musicians that are on the show or the up and coming potential artists or whatever bands that are watching. If your heart's not in the right place, like if it's all dollar signs and fame and fortune, what I call like the rock star, I always hated that term, like rock star. Never liked that. I always liked the term musician, right? Because that's an artist, and if you're in it for that, you'll do it for the rest of your life, regardless of what dollars you make or with the fame you achieve, because you're a lifer. And that's the kind of people that I dig, man. The people that are going to always be a part of music in whatever capacity that they can. Those are the true artists. And we've talked about that with guys on here before, bands, you know, that have been on the show. Those are the ones that I respect.
Well, it's like it has to be in their DNA, literally. Right. It has to be who you are. You literally cannot go through the motions of your life without creating. It's literally something that gives you breath. You have to have that. And if that's not why you're doing it, literally go be a plumber, go work at your dad's shop, go do whatever. And that's cool. But unless you literally need this to survive for your own psyche, for your own joy, there's no point. You're not going to get what you need out of it.
It's with anything in this industry, like the four of us sat here at the Sound, right? We don't earn money from this. We do this because the passion and the love for the music. And that's why we're sat here talking to Shim right now. It's because we love the genre. We've got that passion and that drive to keep going and try and help these bands get out there. You know, and you've got to have that passion for the music you're writing. If you're in a band or if you work in the industry, you have to have that passion for those artists that you're working with or trying to support, or, you know, it's got to be there. You got to have the passion and love for it. So otherwise it's going to fall through.
Well, and also it's a really rough road. Like you can't tolerate this lifestyle if you don't have it in your bones. Like I've talked to other entrepreneurs along the way, and they're like, so how does the music business break down, and where do you get paid, and what do you have to do for it? And like why would you do this to yourself? Like why? And like, because you have to, because we have to. We know we're all crazy, but it's like, if we had to go and work in a cubicle or own a small business that made toothpaste canisters and sold them on Amazon, we want to fucking, no, it's the worst. Like Lisa literally instinctively rolled her eyes. It's the worst. But no, and I think it's really like what you just said about, I explain this to people as well. And it always kind of rocks younger artists when I'm like, by the way, so shimmusic.com, go and check out the tickets to my tour. It's happening. Follow the Spotify, listen to the song, do all that stuff. Every one of my shows and products comes with a money back guarantee. And when I say that, they're like, oh, how can you do that? And I'm like, dude, if you give your money to anyone else on the planet and they do a bad job, you kind of expect to have the option to get your money back. Like if I'm a plumber and I come in and fix your toilet and it breaks the next day, you want your money back. This is no different. This is a service industry. You're providing a service. So if you're not good enough to offer a money back guarantee, get to work. Like get to work.
Wow.
Like, it's really no different. How is it different? They're paying the same money. They had to go and work for it. They had to fucking sit in a cubicle or fix cars or do whatever their job is. And it's valuable to them and they're giving it to you. And you want to be like, no, I'm special. I'm different. I'm a rock star. What I create is more valuable. Maybe, but if it is more valuable, that's your gift and satisfaction. That's not their problem if you have a bad night or you get drunk or you get lazy or you're just too fucking immature to do the work properly.
Right. And it's business, right? And this is going back to, you know, like you were saying, investing in your product and putting out good sound and good music and writing music that you love. It's a business. Like if you were a plumber, for instance, you wouldn't go and buy cheap parts to go and fix someone's sink, or you wouldn't go and open up a furniture store and buy shit furniture to sell. Like the music is your product and the band is the business.
Yeah. And that you're absolutely right about that. And that's another thing that I talk about in the shimsmasterclass.com. Yes, that was a shameless plug, is that when they say like, hey man, what piece of gear can I buy? You're talking about like they buy the gear and they buy the expensive stuff. And I'm like, it's literally the same as putting a bandsaw in a 5-year-old's hands. Apart from the fact that it's dangerous, it's useless, right? The question is, do you know how to use it? Are you the carpenter who can handle the tool? If not, your skill, and this is the thing that always blows their mind. I'm like, you can buy all the pieces of gear and eventually the technology is going to get out of date or it's going to break, but you're always stuck with you. Every skill set that you develop inside stays with you forever. So that's probably a better use of your time and energy. It's actually a better value proposition over time. If you make yourself better, then you can't get rid of you. You're always stuck with it. And it's the same problem in the latter. If you suck, you're always stuck with you. No amount of gear is going to fix it.
And I have a question based on that, actually. So a lot of times artists that I come in contact with, a lot of them don't feel like they need to have vocal lessons, or there's other musicians who are like, oh, I don't need lessons. And my argument is, yes, you do. You need them throughout your entire career, because as you mature and grow and become better at what you're doing, your sound is evolving and you need to keep matching that and strengthening it, right? Is that something that also that you would recommend? Because I'm curious, coming from your perspective, do you take vocal lessons?
I've been taking vocal lessons on and off from the very beginning. I actually work with, and you've given me a great opportunity for another shameless plug.
Go for it.
I am the only affiliate on earth of the Ken Tamplin Vocal Academy. Ken Tamplin, who's a good friend of mine now, is the best vocal coach on the planet. He owns, just go to kentamblinvocalacademy.com. It's KTVA. And him and I have a partnership where I send everyone to him as often as I can. And he also tells people about my songwriting and performance course at shimsmasterclass.com. Another shameless plug. And he is just, from when the band split up to my solo record, I did his whole course and I gained several notes at the top range. I was able to bridge my chest voice to my head voice. I was able to take care of myself better. My solo record sounds better than anything I've ever done because of Ken Tamplin Vocal Academy's courses vocally. And the same way that when I released Sting Like a Bitch that you played earlier, a lot of people are like, wow, I didn't know you could sing that low. Well, that sounds really different to you. And I'm like, yeah, I accessed that because of Ken Tamplin's Vocal Academy. Like I got better. And I find it funny if someone's like, well, you've already sold 1 million records. You already had a #1 single. You're done, right? I don't want another #1 single.
Right.
I don't want more.
You don't want to sell another 1 million records?
Yeah. You don't want to keep playing kick-ass shows. I don't want more money, more songs, more hits, more life, more experience. So why should I assume that I get when I don't give?
Right.
Why should I assume that? So, no, I think, and for me, the thing that I like about continuing vocal training and guitar training and perform any kind of training is that I've hit, and this is, I cannot express this enough to anyone else who's in this game. You can hit any target you set. I set a target of sell 1 million records, have a #1 single, tour with all the biggest bands in the world that I'm fans of, and have them respect me as an artist. And I had LJ from Seven Dust walk up to me like, yo, man, I've been listening to your shit. And I had, people coming up that were like Aaron Lewis from Stain that was like, we got to hang out. I'm like, this is crazy, right? All my targets got hit. So the way that I became the singer that I am is I would write songs that I couldn't sing. And I would go, that's a good song. If I could sing that, that'd be good. And then I would have to become the singer who can sing it. And then it would take me 6 months, and then I'm a better singer, and I'm a better person. And I hit the target, and then I said another one, and another one, and another one. And you keep going. Why would you stop when you can progress?
And it's something I saw on social media that Shinedown shared, and it was Brent Smith. And he said, if you want to be a musician, a vocalist, or in a band, never arrive.
Right.
Yeah, that's a good way to put it. There is no real arrival. Yeah.
Right.
Yeah. I mean, like I think it's important to set, you arrive at the target. And I did this, man. I remember when the band got the first #1 single, and I got the call in a hotel room, and they were like, you're #1, and I hung up the phone, and I did not feel the way I thought I would. I thought that it would be like, I was like, yo, the rainbows are coming, and I'm suddenly, everything's going to be bright and fun. And I was like, nothing's changed.
Right. You're like, oh shit, now what?
Yeah. Yeah. And I'm like, luckily, I didn't hedge my whole life on that thing. It was just one of many targets, but it was a big one. And I was like, I'm the #1 artist in the country, and I feel nothing. I feel good for 5 minutes when they tell me, and then it goes away. And luckily that happened early in my career. And I'm like, cool, I can't hang anything on that. They're targets that they have to be fun to chase. They have to be fun to chase.
Right.
And that's why I go back to. Sorry?
Otherwise they turn to fear, right? Because then you hit that target, and then suddenly you're like, oh. Yeah. Oh, okay. Well, now what?
Yeah.
Well, that goes back to the picture of yourself. Like where are you rooted? What is your core beliefs? What is your values, right? Because if it's fame and #1 singles and stuff like that, that shit's hollow. Like, you know, you just expressed. Yeah. Not that you don't strive for that, but it can't be the only thing that sustains your soul.
I think the way that I like to really flip things on their head for people, just so they can break out of their thought patterns, right? And like you said before, if you make it about the money, it's shallow and you're not going to get anything out of it, right? I flip it on its head to people sometimes when they're like, you're focused on likes, you're focused on all the numbers, right? And do you have you even written down how much it will cost you each month to live if you quit your job? So you can be a full-time musician. How much money do you need? What's your target? And they're like, nah, man, I'm an artist. I'm not in it for the money, man. Fuck that. And I'm like, okay, cool. So you're going to be a broke artist your whole life. That doesn't serve anyone. That doesn't serve anyone. Like, you should have that target. And the way that I express it is, people risk nothing. This is really important for everyone to hear, man. If you're getting trolled, if you're getting negative feedback on social media, if you're like getting bullied, if you're like you don't like how you look and you're seeing other people doing fancy pictures, whatever it is, you have to remember the most important thing. People risk nothing by typing and commenting and pushing buttons. They risk nothing. Therefore, it means nothing. If you can equate it to that and go, well, if they risk that, and then when it comes time to, hey, can you buy my thing? Now they have to put money, they have to take a risk. The best thing about money is that it's a universally agreed upon metric system. Everyone says $1 is worth $1. So when someone gives you $15 for your ticket, if you sell lots of tickets and you sell out a show, that's the number you should be paying it. You should strive to make lots of money from your music because it means it's valuable to people. Mm-hmm. It means it's valuable to people. And you should tell people, I made this great thing and I worked really hard and I wrote a song and it was hard to write and I put it out there and I stand behind this money back guarantee and I'm going to take all your money if you'll give it to me. Here's my offer. Take my music. Here's my experience that I'm giving to you. It's valuable. You're going to have a great time. You're going to feel better. And then when they buy it, you should feel good because everyone agrees on that metric system. When it comes to everything else, they risk nothing. So don't pay attention to it. Use it as stepping stones to get you to the money and feel good and focus on it to that end. If people are going to give you their money, it means you made good stuff and they care about it and they value it. So you should think about it and you should focus on it for the right reason. And then say, I want that money so I can quit my job and be better. I want that money so I can take care of my family and be better. You know. And
I will show you a good example of spending money on someone that you care about. Like we mentioned architects, right? Now, they are hands down, like you can see my poster behind me. They're my band. They are for me the greatest band on the planet right now. Now, when they dropped the Classic Symptoms of Broken Spirit, I spent over $300 on vinyls.
Fuck yeah, man.
Because I love Architects.
Yeah.
You know, and it goes to show that if you're putting out something that people care about, or you're giving them that experience that, you know, people care about, they're going to spend the money.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
You know, and that's how you make a living out of it.
Yeah. Yeah.
Agreed.
You know, there's a prime example there. I've just shown you all the vinyls. Like, there's $300 worth of vinyls of the same album.
Yeah.
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 No,
We have them in different variants, okay? Anyway.
Yeah, they're all different variants. They're the isotopes. They're the signed copies. I just bought every single copy that they basically did, you know? Yeah. But that goes to show that if you're putting something out, like people relating to the lyrics, people resonating with your songs, you engaging with them as fans, you putting on a killer live show.
Yeah. You're creating an experience for them.
Yeah.
Well, I can't. 100%. I'm super excited for the experience that I'm going to get in a few weeks. When is the last time that you've been to the States?
Oh, I mean, I've been coming back and forth for visits and work and stuff, but in terms of touring, I haven't toured for 5 years.
Wow.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. So I tell you, man, I've been really lucky. And the reason that I'm invigorated about the way that I speak about this stuff right now is because when I booked a few shows, I was surprised in the best way that there was such positive feedback. Like, yes, you're coming back. Let's go. Where are the shows? Let's go. I just didn't expect, because, you know, I've been dormant for a little while. And I was just it was really fucking cool, man, that to put out some stuff and people go, yes, thank God, like we want to come and see you. And so I was like, great, let's make it big. Let's get the big band. Let's get some good bands. Let's do more shows. Let's make it an experience that takes us all the way to Thanksgiving and then make a plan for next year and do it properly.
Well, what I love about this tour in particular is that it's at very intimate venues. These are not gigantic venues. I know that the Tally Ho Theater only has a certain cap. I know that 2 days later, you're going to be in Mechanicsburg at Love Drafts. I go to that venue all the time. Yeah. Very intimate. Yeah. These are the shows for me. And I think for all of us here on the podcast, these are the shows that we gravitate to because it gives us that experience. So I cannot wait to get the full Shim experience. I'm so excited. Do you have anything special planned?
Yeah, I do have a couple of special things planned, but I'm not going to tell you. I want you to, they're going to be at the show. Well, there's one thing I have, this for anyone who's on the fence about coming to a show, there are going to be a couple of merchandise items that you cannot get online that aren't going to be anywhere. And what I do is at each of my shows, I raffle off old CDs of mine from my collection, like old out of print ones that you can't get anywhere else, including the band's very first EP that I produced and paid for. There's only like 500 copies in existence. So I'm bringing some of those out and we're raffling them off for hardcore fans. And don't get me wrong, it's completely self-serving. I just want to get people in the doors. So like that's going to be an extra little push. But you can buy a raffle ticket for like $10 and get like what's effectively like a $500 package, because those things, they don't go on sale very often. And there's only a few of them. So that's going to be a fun one. There's also, we're working on a cover song that is going to be very unexpected, but it's going to be lots of fun. And I'm not going to drop it. And yeah, no, I think the reason that I wanted to focus on doing this kind of tour is because it's a really good way to start off it's a really good way to finish off the year and let everyone know and get the ball rolling for next year. Because next year we ain't going to be in the clubs. We're going to be doing some big things. So I wanted to reconnect with everyone and just, you know, have an opportunity to revisit and start from where the band started and give everyone that experience so that we can get everyone feeling good again and then be like, cool, now next year, let's kick some ass.
So next year, are we looking at me coming and seeing Shim in the UK?
You know what? We actually are. Yeah.
Yeah.
Nice. Yeah, it'll be later in the year, but yes, we're talking to people already. Yeah. That's what I'm saying. I was fucking like happily shocked when I was talking to John from Curtain Call, and he's like, "Yep, we're getting calls from the UK. We're putting a couple things together. Like they still remember. They want me back there." And they're like, "Yeah." So I was like, "Great, this is cool, man. It's really a gift. That's why I'm as passionate as I am about this. Because like, if I'm gonna get another chapter, I'm gonna make it count and give as much as I can to everyone who any value I can give, I'll give it."
This has been an absolute blessing of an interview.
Holy
cow, man. You have been one of the best guests we have ever had. I have loved this conversation.
Hold on,
just
let me
your thoughts.
check mark on this dry erase board real quick.
What a prick.
We normally say, I mean, tickets are on sale now. Where can people buy tickets to?
Shimmusic.com. We literally yesterday we just got the Bandcamp all set up. So if you just go to shimmusic.com, the Bandcamp is set up connected to that. And also go to, if you just type in Shim, SHIM, into Spotify, they're going to pop up naturally if they're anywhere near you. But go and check it out. Use your thumb. I tell everyone, use your thumbs. Type in shimmusic.com and go to the site. Don't just wait for something to show up on your feed, because I don't want you to miss out. So yeah, use your thumbs, type in shimmusic.com and go and see if there's a show near you. And if there's not, fucking drive.
Absolutely.
Right.
There you
Fucking
go.
drive. Dude, I do it all the time. Like literally, you might see me 2 nights because I might go to Mechanicsburg and drive 3 hours to go to that show.
I'll make sure. Please let us know ahead of time. Anything you're going to do, just email John, and then we'll figure out anything good we can do for you guys along the way. And by the way, just want to be clear and on the record, anything I can do for you in the future for your show or for artists that are on it or for anything you're doing, please reach out and let me know. Anything I can do to support or to educate or anything. Just let me know. Okay?
I'm glad you said that, because I was going to ask. I know you said your tour goes out to Thanksgiving-ish, right? Is that what you said?
17th, yeah, the week before.
Okay, so maybe towards the end of the year, you come back on and we do a deep dive into your masterclass, because I had a lot of more questions about that. I would love to go into that.
Well, you know what? If you want to do that, how about we do one better? Let's do it the week before Thanksgiving, because we're doing a Black Friday sale. So anyone who's interested can get a better price that way.
Okay, Kevin, we can set that up, and also we can feature that in the magazine as well.
We can.
Thank you so much. That'd be fantastic, man.
Absolutely.
If I don't know. I have a feeling that Lisa's going to be writing a review of the Shim Shallow Side and Anything But Human show.
There you go.
In the November issue.
Shim, what you don't know is we cover everything. As far as we have a radio station, we have the podcast, we have this live streaming show, we have our own digital magazine. So we try to cover everything we can in every aspect of the music scene that we can.
What I would love to see, and we're starting a new thing called Riff TV, which is going to be on our Twitch channel, which is basically we're playing music videos. But what I would love is for Shim to come on and react to some of these underground bands that he doesn't know about. Yeah,
dude, I'm in for a penny, in for a pound, man. Anything I can do to help.
Okay,
let's do it.
We appreciate it. Yeah, absolutely. That's awesome.
Very great.
Hey, Kevin, I see here in the thing. I want to flash it just real quick so the audience, and so you can see here. This is the September issue right there. That's the cover. That's Matt had the Almas in the UK, and they that's the actual intersection.
That's the Abbey Road zebra crossing off.
Oh, that's good, dude. That's one of my bucket list things. I want to get that picture too.
Dude, you come to the UK, man. We'll make it happen.
Yeah, man. Let's put that. Let's make that happen.
And if you need, by chance, if you need a tour manager when you come to the UK, we know a guy.
Yeah, it's
yeah, man.
Hey,
if you need a driver while you're in the UK, we know a guy.
All right, man. All right.
Thank you so much.
Yeah, thank you so much.
This amazing interview. Holy shit.
No, it was wonderful. I'm really glad that you guys were open to opening up the conversation instead of just the usual interview thing. It makes it really fun. And I think a lot of people who are in the decision-making process about, where they want to go in this business, it helps to just talk about it and let them hear because they can't get into the rooms. And if they're just I think it's important.
One thing we love to do at the Sound here is not just give the fans an insight to the artist, it's to give up-and-coming bands some insight into the industry.
Yeah.
That's what we love to do.
I think that's a really good thing, because we did talk about, so I'll finish up on this because you're going forever. But the thing that's important for fans that I really want them to take away, and you know what, Matt, you're a fucking perfect example, man. A seriously perfect example. There's two sides to every coin. Artists have a responsibility to make great art to the best of their abilities, to do their job, to dig deep, to do all the stuff, wake up, do the work, and push themselves. Fans also have a new responsibility, which is, it used to be very one-sided. The label would set it up, you'd buy a ticket, you'd buy an album, the money would flow back, and you would just, that's the end of it. Fans have a responsibility, and it comes from a very holistic, give what you get. The best case that I got to put on a shirt, Lisa, I'm going to make this shirt and send it to you. It's called Giver's Gain. Givers gain. Okay. The
Yeah.
more you give to an artist, the more they can give to you. The more the artist gives to the fans, the more money they're going to make. It's a cyclical thing. So fans, if you want your experience to be better, you are fully able to reach out to a band and say, I love you. I'd like you to do X, Y, Z. If I could find a few people that agree with me, would you do it? Or just say, like, are you doing this anytime soon? I just want to put my hand up and say, if you made that, I'd buy it. I'd like to see that or hear it. It's no different than a relationship with a marriage. If you got something that you want to say to your wife or your husband, you're like, hey, I'd like to do more of this from now on. Can we go out more? Can we stay in more? You got to say it. And then the other person has a responsibility to go, cool. That's how relationships work. So you are allowed to go to your artists and your bands and say, I really appreciate, respect what you're doing. I want you to do more of it. Can you do X, Y, Z? And then that you're allowed to do that. I think fans are weird when they're like, really? I can talk to them? I'm like, yeah, that's what the internet's for now. That's what it's for. Yeah. And if a band doesn't respond, it's no different than a boyfriend. Okay, if a band doesn't respond, maybe they're not worth the time and energy. There's lots of bands, lots of artists that you can find. Yep. You get to choose your life, choose your experience. You get to choose. So you find where you want to be and then support that environment. It's called building the culture. If you build a garden, the bees will come. Build the right culture, the life that you want, support it, and they'll give it to you. And most people forget about that stuff. Fans just want to be fed because they do this. They land on 5 acts that they want to support. You're part of the journey. You're part of the equation. You're allowed to do it. Do your job. Do your job.
There you go. I love it.
Wow. And so I found another one. You saw how big I was in that last picture, right?
Oh, shit. Here we go. All right, let's wrap it up on this. Okay. We're never going to end. Here we go. Show me. Oh, look, you're looking good. I look a little plumper.
Oh, there you go.
I took some of your chin fat.
Was that like a handlebar mustache? What was that?
On him or on me? No, he's just hadn't shaved for a minute.
Kevin.
Yeah.
It's a goatee, I think. Yeah.
Is it? Oh, okay.
Yeah. That was CPR Fest on the beach in Gulfport. God,
wow.
Long time
ago.
Well,
Kevin, I'm looking forward to seeing you at the show.
We're gonna make it happen.
My man. Excellent.
One way or the other.
Yes, man. All right, and then like I said, anything I can do to be of service to you, please reach out to John and me, and you got my email address too. We'll just make it happen.
Yes, sir.
Thanks again.
And the same goes the other way. Anything we can do for you, let us know.
You're doing it now.
We appreciate you. We appreciate it.
Thank you, sir.
Wow.
Right?
That was fun.
That is one of the best interviews we have ever had on this podcast. If you are in a band and you're just joining us, you need to rewind and go back and watch this entire interview. There is so much information there that Shim is providing. If you are a fan, get out to these shows happening. Shim, Shallow Side, and Anything But Human. Look at the dates. There is a city near you. Tickets are, how much are the tickets? I can't even remember. They're not expensive. Get on out. No. These are intimate venues. These aren't big, huge shows. Get out to these shows, support these artists. And, hey, he's got a money back guarantee.
And the cool thing is, I have to
come on.
The cool thing is I have to leave this poster up for a while because there's so many fucking dates.
There are.
Yeah. I love it.
But go and support him. The guy's coming all the way from Australia.
Yeah. So wait.
Make it worth his while.
Yeah, October 17th, Tally Ho in Leesburg. And then 2 days later, it's in Mechanicsburg, Pennsylvania at Love Draft. So I know I've got friends there. Ooh, and then the next day he's got to go to
our girl Jules.
Oh, dear God, that's a ride.
So
wow, South Dakota.
And on our end, Katy, Texas. We know we got friends out in Katy, Texas at the Wildcatter Saloon. Homa the next night. October 12th at the Rewind Club in Homa. That's the one I'm going to try to make. And then October 13th at the Legacy at Riverfront in Tallahassee. So lots of good venues down here across the I-10 corridor as well. So plenty of places to go see this show. And it's going to be
no excuses.
Fucking worth it.
Oh, it's going to be an epic night of music. I'm so excited to see him in person and hopefully get to say hello and take in what he's got to offer. I'm expecting one hell of a show.
I want to see pictures.
I might go live. We'll see.
There you go. All right. We will talk to you on our next episode. We appreciate you hanging out with us, and we'll see you soon.
Keep rocking.
Oh, I gotta do it. Wait, I gotta do the right thing. Hold on.
Shit.
There it goes. Ah.
Bye.